A lot of details happening. Right, filigree.
Pete's very detailed tattoos.
Yeah.
I love hearing how bands in this modern age of music are being discovered. Because it makes me think, if you guys started out 25 years ago, how would you have got a record deal? How would you have got a contract?
I have no idea.
No idea. It's a totally different world now, I think, for
I
people.
feel like it's easier in places like London, but incredibly difficult. I always wonder how bands in kind of Northern America, you know, if you're from, I don't know, Birmingham, Alabama, you're like the best indie band. You have to get some A&R guy to fly out from LA to commit to come see you. It's such a kind of laborious, enormous process for them. Yeah, I mean, I guess now it's much easier.
Yeah, but you know, you could have still put a video up and had 2,000 people look at it instead of 20,000 or 30,000 or whatever it was in those early days. And you know, the gathering of attention now is just so different than it was back in the day. You know?
Yeah, it's totally different.
Who's that Chris producer? Did a Nitro.
Oh, yeah. Fucking. This is so embarrassing.
This guy produced the Nitro.
Albini.
Okay, yeah.
He wrote this big article. He was like, people complain about the state of the music industry now. It's never been better. It's never been freer. It's never been more open. Bands have never had more chance of getting discovered and being heard. And before you like make a tape and send it to your local radio DJ and hope that, you know.
And also autonomy. Like bands have control over what they do so much more now than they used to. Like,
and the talented stuff seems to rise to the top. I mean, it's nice seeing bands with genuine talent get a deal, and then sort of have the ability to control what that deal looks like. It's not even really about making records anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, absolutely.
Or they don't need to get a deal at all.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean, it obviously comes with negatives as well. Like I think it is sad that I feel like we have experienced and maybe won't experience again golden age of recording. I think to make incredible recordings costs so much money, and obviously the level of investment that labels are putting into that these days is significantly less than what it used to be. But as I said, there's so many more positives as well. The fact that you can record music in your bedroom and make really good music in your bedroom as well is like it means that the doors have been blown wide up. I think.
But in the name of progress or any kind of progression, or a lot of the time it takes the route of like, what is the most effective, efficient way to make this happen in the environment that we have? So like, development of hip hop by taking like Marvin Gaye samples that were recorded in fantastic studios, great expense, and then in their bedroom or on MPC and turning that into something, and then that's a Jay-Z song, Can I Live song. That, I think that's amazing.
It is.
I think that's a pretty amazing. And a lot of the time we hear, a lot of records we like, we hear, the vocal for this was done on an iPad microphone.
Right.
And it doesn't necessarily detract from the experience of listening to music. It's like it's just one element, maybe. Like I said about these incredible recording techniques that they use. It's like it's an element that has maybe fallen by the wayside slightly.
I think it encourages creativity, which is awesome.
But often the experience of, and people are making up for that in other creative ways. By throwing like really oddball ideas at the wall, and a lot of it like is sticking and becoming part of the modern vernacular, and it's really exciting time.
How advanced was your live performance when you started to get noticed? Had you guys performed live a lot, or was it sort of?
Arnie doesn't know how to shut the door.
That was not.
Is it not on? Oh, it's not on. I think it was more advanced than a lot of kind of contemporaries that had, I don't know whether it's the same now, I'm sure it is, but when we first started, it was like we had to kind of hide away because there was such a kind of hunger for like new bands that you almost like once you were new and then everyone had seen it, if you hadn't like nailed that opportunity, it's almost like you missed the boat. So I don't know, I felt like we'd all played in different bands for years and years and years and years, so I think we started off pretty advanced. I mean,
we hadn't toured loads before we started talking to the I mean labels and, and managers and stuff like that. We haven't toured as a group that much, but we've all, as Freddie said, like we'd all toured many times with other artists and other acts and stuff, quite a lot. And also, I think as a result of having gone through the mill of that with other people, it almost gave us more of a hunger to do it, to do our own thing, and to kind of throw caution to the wind slightly. So I think when we started playing and getting a little attention, we were playing with a lot of, you know, hunger and enthusiasm and excitement, and I think and alongside that, we kind of decided quite early on that we wanted to be a live band first, you know, a live band first and foremost before we went and recorded anything. That was where our interest lied, and I think it's what we were best at. Possibly, I think that's maybe what we're still best at.
I think it's a lot. I mean, we were thrown pretty much like quite quickly into the deep end when we first started. You know, we played Jules Holland, which was a big British show before our first single came out, and we were on with Eric Clapton and Kings of Leon and all these other bands, and I actually think we held our own. And so I do think actually we started, all that prior experience was pretty key in that initial like jump up, because we could have gone on that show and sucked, and then that was before our album was done or anything like that. So I think all that kind of prior experience was pretty important.
You caught the attention of a lot of significant people early on, which can take some bands 2-3 albums.
Well, exactly,
right?
yeah.
And you know, here you are, like you say, one single, Jules Holland. That's unprecedented.
Yeah. Well, no singles.
It actually was, yeah. That was the first time anyone had done that.
It was unprecedented. But that's a cultural thing too. Mm-hmm. That is about people wanting the absolute newest possible thing.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think it was. I think we were good, but I don't think we were like. I don't think we were making it unprecedented. I don't think we were making it unprecedented out of pure quality. But
I think you've topped yourself on every album that you've put out so far. And
thank you.
You know, that sophomore album is usually a killer for a lot of bands that come up like you do, where it's like, here's a bunch of great songs and we can't follow it up.
Yeah, it can be I mean, like a lot of attention early on can spell disaster for a lot of bands. So we were lucky, and I think maybe kind of sensible in trying to sort of just skirt around all that, just kind of take it as a compliment and move on as we were. And I think that did enable us to go to make a good second record, and you know, and sort of generate enough kind of enthusiasm from fans, and like, you know, I think the people who got on board on the first record, we didn't lose anyone on the second one. I think we managed to keep that same level of enthusiasm. And I think on this last record we were definitely keen to kind of take a different, a bit of a sidestep, move on in a slightly new direction. But again, like we haven't experienced any kind of pullback from that. It's all been like really forward moving, and everyone's been coming with us.
I think A Ghost Graffiti sounds more like a cohesive album. It's not an assembly of songs that were written in different places. To me, anyway, it sounds like here's a structured, segment of 11 songs that all intertwine nicely together.
Very hard on it. It's funny thinking back to when we made What Do You Expect. I mean, obviously the songs were all written, but I mean, what a kind of breezy and kind of, it was like pure fun process, and I think it is harder to make those records, second and third records. I think you do have to kind of source energy and inspiration and all those things from different places. But you kind of get it done regardless.
We tried really hard to almost put sort of any preconceptions about what it was that we could do, just leave them to the side, and that not necessarily any preconceived notions from the outside world, but from ourselves as well. Our third record could have gone any number of ways, and so we kind of tried to sort of just not think about what it is that we should do. I don't know. It's hard to say. Not what we should do next to sort of to carry on with this career, or to fit into that box that people may have put us in. And to just do something that felt honest and real, and and genuine, and yeah, I think we managed to do that.
Did you write it differently? Did you approach the songs in a different fashion than your other two albums?
Yeah, it was. I mean, each of our records have been written, and the creative process has been quite different. And I think that is something that is quite important in our development. You know, we may have ended up with something that's cohesive and kind of and feels like very much like the vaccines, but it's happened kind of in spite of the fact that we've always tried to do things slightly differently.
Yeah.
First record was basically Justin was writing a banger every day, bringing it into us, and we would basically just dress it up, but the song was there and it would just remain the same, and it was just us kind of finishing it off. The second record was we all wrote loads and we pieced together songs. It was a bit more of a process of being like, okay, well that chorus doesn't work, the verse is nice, let's try and rewrite the chorus with that, and it was a bit more in depth that way. And this time it was a lot of collaboration, like Justin and Cole MGN, who co-produced the record with Dave. Justin and Cole like kind of went off on their own to do a lot of writing together, and wrote with great results, you know. And again, slightly different flavour to the stuff that we had before, but somehow kind of ended up being kind of a cohesive and coherent kind of development from the last thing.
I play it right through when I'm listening to it, you know, and not to discount the other two albums, which I think are excellent, but I find that I listen to this album as an 11-song unit. And,
that's great.
You know, it's not that I'm going in and playing one song off of it. It's not just 2020 and then I'm, on to something else.
That's
I play
cool.
the works, you know.
Well, that's a compliment.
We just worked on it until right down to the sequencing and making sure that all the gaps were correct. And the kind of this little piece of music at the very end of it, and all these little details. Just thinking like, how would I enjoy hearing this the best? But it's an incredibly involved process, and you kind of bleed through it, and you get hyper involved in it, and then it's all over.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty amazing process.
I love looking at your body of work and music videos because you have a very strong,
it's a lot of them,
cinematic presence on the internet, and some bands are just like, let's do a live video, or let's not put a lot of thought into the story. And you've got some interesting cinematographers and some cool storylines.
We've been really lucky, We've been kind of encouraged to explore that and work with really creative and ingenious people, from all over the world.
It's funny, every time we have a discussion about, the label will be like, I really think we should rein it back on this one because people are getting a bit confused. Are you guys aliens? Are you, what are you? We need to do one where people can see the band in their natural environment. And we're like, no, but we do. We're like, okay, cool. How are we going to do this? And then the most frank discussion about that happening was before the video we shot yesterday, and I was just laughing yesterday, going, "This is the result of us. We've basically withdrawn ourselves from the role of band and put in these kind of Canadian comedians," which is fantastic. But despite all that, the label, everyone that kind of helps make it happen, they're so encouraging, and I think we don't see the point in doing any generic kind of music video because the MTV generation is kind of, in a way, it's kind of behind us, and people have seen no end of it, and so I think it's also the album is really stylized and modern and cinematic and theatric and all that stuff. And I don't think it would have really worked. It would have been wouldn't have paired with the music well if we had done something that was understated.
Yeah.
I think also alongside a record label or whatever giving you a certain amount of budget or a certain amount of time to go and make a record, they're presenting you with an opportunity for creativity in a totally different way, and it's it would be such a waste to not take that seriously and to not do as much as you can with it, because when are you going to get that opportunity again? It's a gift, really. So it's a chance to really kind of collaborate with a lot of interesting people and to really kind of test yourselves as well. So and it's fun. So.
Have you turned down any ideas, or have you had ideas pitched to you where you're like, we're not touching that?
A great many.
Great many. Yeah, we turned down loads, but not because we think they're bad, just because we like a different idea better. We're very open to pretty much anything.
Yeah, and we've also I think a lot, especially on this sort of campaign, we've kind of been, we've come up with ideas of our own, and and maybe pitched them out to people who have then taken it and built on it and built on it and built on it. Yeah. So it's like, it's a really, the collaboration thing is really fun.
I also like that you guys work with a different producer every album that you go out on. Is that because you just want to keep things fresh, or are you always looking for something new as far as the way your albums can sound?
I think the same approach to how they've kind of been written differently or approached differently. I think it's like eating. If you have a favourite food or something and you eat it and you eat it, like, okay, we kind of wrote the second record in the same space we rehearsed the first record in. It kind of, we can never go back there now because it's so done. So I kind of feel like, I mean, never say never, but you really live out that experience with a certain producer. You really invest the time and you kind of put your blood, sweat and tears into it, and then when it's done, it kind of feels like it's almost like going to visit an ex-girlfriend or something. In a way, it's like, this is really the chapter, the book's shut on this one now. And
also, I think like it's such a, I mean, again, it's like harking back to what I just said about videos. It's an opportunity for kind of growth. It's like if you found the perfect mode of working for you and that's what you did, then your experience of art and your experience of creativity is going to be here. Whereas if you actually involve many other people with many different styles of working, they're going to get other things out of you. They're going to encourage you, so you're going to become a more complete musician, more complete songwriter, more complete drummer, more complete band, and that sort of makes sense to me.
It's also just not in our nature. You kind of have people that have very like Neil Young has the most fixed elements. He has these certain elements. That's all he needs in order to create his genius, and he can do that over and over again. It will always be engaging and always be fantastic. We're just not one of those bands. I don't think that kind of those basic elements really exist for us as much. So I think it's a continued process of exploration that is the kind of the best way forward for us.
Is there an example of something that Dave Friedman pulled out of you that maybe was noticeable to you compared to your other two albums?
Oh yeah, I mean, if you'd seen the picture of what Pete's drum kit looked like in certain recordings, when there's like 3 bass drums tied together with like kitchen equipment everywhere.
Right.
I mean, he's such a brilliant engineer and producer that really you could suggest anything. So it was more just that attitude of kind of, you can suggest anything and we'll try everything and we'll get something. Once you start like living every day in the studio like that, I mean, kind of innumerable examples of things. But there was a great drum sound on Maybe I Could Hold You that was a very kind of signature, Pete working with Dave to create something which was kind of fantastic. I don't know what else. It's a very extreme sounding record. Radio Bikini is very much an example.
I mean, there were moments where like, there was one time, I think it was on 2020, where we basically set up the most ludicrous like assortment of drums, like toms and snare drums and bass drums, just everywhere, and a pair of sticks. And basically Dave said, let's just do, I mean, most of the parts had been recorded, it was mostly there. It was just like, why don't we just do like 4 passes of you just doing whatever the hell you want, like big fills, big drum fills, like big, like just stuff that you might think was inappropriate, but like follow your gut basically. And sure enough, there was like a couple of moments in there that made it onto the final thing, just because it was like, well, it was fun and it was empowering and it was encouraging, and it's like, and it sounded, and we got some good stuff out of it. So, he was very empowering.
It was like Tetris building blocks, So you take, like Pete was saying, we're doing these drum fill bits, and then that ended up as actually being the section that opened the record, and then suggested that he remixed one of the songs, and then that was the little thing. I mean, he had an enormous input on that. And it was more just the kind of, his talent facilitated a lot of freedoms for us. So you could just make wild suggestions, and he would know what to think of it, and you could make sense of it, and you could work together and make that into some kind of palpable reality.
Is there, I'm just going to finish up with one more. Is there a backstory to the Instagram video for Wetsuit? How did that come about? How involved were you?
It's not a very interesting backstory. I think it was someone came to us with the idea, and we thought, fine. But credits. But I would say that the results, the credit goes to the people who took the photographs and to the people that came with the idea. You know, but it turned out to be such an unexpectedly wonderful thing. But it wasn't a kind of master plan, master stroke from the band. It was something that someone suggested. It just happened that our fans took the pictures and how we did have input how they were assembled.
Yeah.
Which is magic, like a magical thing, but really unexpected. So we can't take too much credit for it.
It's interesting to look at the traffic that video takes compared to some of the other videos. And be like, it's just like Instagram.
A good idea is worth more than is the most important aspect of any creative endeavor.
Exactly. But I mean, it was that, and I think it really did. Like, people really took that idea and ran with it. You know, I think it was amazing for our fans. Like, they were incredible about it, weren't they? They just, like, it really felt like they kind of that it opened their minds to this thing, and they really got on board and made it a total success.
It was wonderful. I mean, it'd be great to expand that.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I appreciate your time. Thanks so much.
No worries, man.
It's good to talk.
Good show tonight.
Thanks a lot.